Okay, so recently I got scammed $5,000 for a brand identity. In this video, I'm going to show you how it happened, and hopefully the same doesn't happen to you too. You see, if you're not familiar with the branding process, it's pretty normal to have a procedure where you send the client a contract, they pay 50% upfront, and then they're expected to pay the remaining 50% upon completion. Now, since running my design agency, I tend to do about 2/3 of the projects that come into the business, and that's simply because I just don't have the capacity to take on any more work. At the end of the day, it's just me. So with that being said, this was one of the projects where I brought in a senior designer and an illustrator on the project. Now, the way that this always works is that I go away and do the strategy, hand it off to the designers, and then a few weeks later, receive some exceptional work back. Present it to the client, they sign it off, and everybody's happy. Now, it's important to know that this has always worked for me, except from this time. So I thought, instead of letting a project go to waste, I'll share with you exactly what we did for them every step of the way and show you exactly where things went wrong. Okay, so we'll start with brand strategy, and this was after the client had paid the 50% deposit. We went over to Figma, created some new templates, which are going to be coming out on the 31st of October. Don't get too excited yet. And this is what it looked like. So to start off, we had the introduction. This is Ramono, a brand strategy guide. It tells you who we are, what we stand for, and how we talk wherever Ramono shows up in the world. Now, I'm just going to click this play button here. This is what we do in Figma now. We send over a prototype link. So if we click share, then we click copy prototype link. When we send it over to the client, all they have to do is open the link and they can have this interactive brand strategy. Now, a little bit of background on Ramono. They were meant to be a subscription fintech business. So pretty much the target audience was people who have oversubscribed to subscriptions. Ramono is meant to be a software that has all of your subscriptions in one place with one click unsubscribes to manage your finances and make sure that you're a little bit less stressed in your life. So let's take a look at the brand mission and the brand vision. Now, the mission is what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, which was to help everyday people feel more in control of their finances by simplifying how they manage recurring expenses. And the brand vision, which is the broader goal, was to become the go-to tool for everyday people to feel in control of their finances. Now, take a look at the brand values that we decided. We went for honest, human, and helpful. The tone of voice was human, reassuring, and straightforward. We went into a little bit more detail here for each of the examples. We can be clear but not cold, we can be professional but not distant, and we can be confident but not superior. Reassuring, we can be helpful but not patronizing, we can be friendly but not overfamiliar, and we can be honest but not harsh. And finally, straightforward. We can be simple but not simplistic, we can be clear but not cold, we can be honest but not blunt. So then we have audience persona. Now, Ramono's primary audience is everyday individuals aged 25 to 45 who feel overwhelmed by recurring expenses like bills, rent, and subscriptions. For the competitors, we have Snoop and Emma. For the positioning, we position them as relatively expensive but high quality. And then if we head over to the mood board, you can see we presented two different directions. So we'll take a look at those. Now, the first direction was finance on human terms. So if we take a look at the personality sliders, you can see we went for more mass market, more serious, more conventional or disruptive, more authoritative, and more mature and classic. See here the mood board overview, then the logo concept, the graphic elements, and the photography. Direction 2, we went for a companion in your pocket, which was the direction that we ended up going for. And you can see here we went more towards the mass market, more towards playful, more disruptive, more friendly, and more young and innovative. Now here you can see it's very mascot driven, so we've got a few mascot examples, and we've also got some examples of how it could look on a billboard. Again, diving into the mascot concept, diving into the graphic elements, and then diving into the photography. Now, once the client agreed on direction 2, we went away and created a brand presentation. So let me show you what this looks like. Again, recently we've been using Figma a lot, and we found it very, very handy, not only with working with other creatives in the same files, but also being able to have all of our files in one document. So if we take a look at the brand presentation over here, again, we're clarifying the mood board direction that we chose, which was a companion in your pocket, showing the personality sliders, showing the mood board again, and then diving into the mascot. So the mascot for Ramono was actually called Remo. Now, the main reason we went for a mascot here rather than just a normal logo was to make finances feel more human. At the end of the day, finances are a pretty stressful subject, so if you've got a mascot like Remo who's giving you a nice wave, it's going to be a lot more inviting and a lot more friendly than maybe some aggressive fintech business branding. But with that being said, we still did create a logo, and that was a signature R. So first of all, we selected the typography, which was Ramono, and then we went away and customized the R to have this signature feel. Again, making the brand more human. You can start to see the colours are getting introduced here with the logo example. And then we presented the typography. So for the primary type, we went for PP Fragment Glare. The secondary font, we went for the Sans version. Then you can see we had some utilizations of the typography here with 3 examples. And then we showcase the color palette. So first off, we have the primary colors, which are Ramono orange, off-white and black. And you can see we have some shades underneath it. We have the secondary colors, which are green, yellow, grey and blue. And then we showcase the fun part, which is the illustrations. So first off, we have our mascot interactions, and this is where Remo's going to pop up throughout the brand. You can see here we've got one of him waving, we've got one of him a little bit more stressed, and then we've got one of him doing the things that some people may love, like playing the guitar. Next we have some app icons, again very aligned with the mascot style. And then we have some contextual illustrations, which are a very good way to show across a brand's personality. So we went for some witty, playful copy here, and the reason again being to make finance less stressful and more human. So you can see with our contextual illustrations, we have your payments clean, receipts in your account, we have you're the missing piece, time to verify, and we have signals a bit toast, ping back when it's golden. And then we dive into the photography, which is great to showcase for any brand. So as you can see here, the photography style that we went for was a very high flash, harsh shadows photography style. But that wasn't the only rule with photography. We wanted to make sure that we captured everyday moments. So we made sure to pop that in the copy on the left. Now this inquiry has only been possible because of today's sponsor, Framer. Framer is a no-code web building tool that allows you to create amazing websites with animations that would usually require a developer. If you head over to the Framer marketplace, you will see a bunch of different Framer templates, free or paid, that are going to help you kickstart your agency and get clients quicker. And alternatively, if you already know about Framer, I've just released my new brand guidelines template on Framer as well. You can see we've got a fully interactive brand guidelines template, so once you've signed your client, you can go away, execute the brand identity project, get the Framer template, and wow them with an interactive brand guidelines template. So first link in the description, click the Framer link and use the code CHECKW. Now at Nonstop Branding, we do understand that people may not always be able to pay on time, so we gave them the benefit of the doubt. We waited a month, 2 months, 2 months and 15 days, and then we called it off. We realized that the client couldn't pay the remaining amount, which left me, personally, out of pocket because I'd hired these designers, took a small margin of profit anyway on the project, and ended up still having to pay the designers, which led to my agency taking a hit. But hey ho, this is business, so I thought I'd share it with you anyway and show the true transparencies of running an agency, because it is not always happy days. With that being said, the templates that you've just seen in the video will be available as of the 31st of October for $499, and they will also have course modules attached to them. So very exciting stuff, and if you do already own the agency starter kit, which is the link in the description, you will receive this upgrade completely for free. So check the link in the description. The agency starter kit is currently £250. It's going to be $499 as of the 31st of October. See you in the next video.